Welcome back to Enders Vision TV. Round 16 prediction for the Premier League. And boy, is the league heating up. Some teams are inconsistent. The leaders starting to have a little bit of a shake, only 2 points ahead. And there's a cluster of teams from about 4th position to about 11th position. 2 points separated them. So it's very interesting. You lose a game, you drop down. You win again, you jump up. So let's get straight into it. Hit that like and subscribe button. But first up is Chelsea, sitting in 5th place, playing Everton in 7th place. Everton, what a great season, David Moyes. New stadium, they're rising high, getting some good results. Chelsea, on the other hand, other week they was in the title race. What happened? They was in the title race the other week, and now look, they're fighting for top 4. No wins in 3. What is happening? But get back to this game. Chelsea at home, they're very good defensively, and Everton are going to have to come out their shell to try to get a result here. And I think that'll be their undoing. Even though Chelsea ain't been on form, I feel like they have to get a win here. So I'm going for a 2-1 narrow Chelsea win to get back on track, because I don't know what's been happening with Chelsea. Very inconsistent recently, dropped down the table, but I'll go for a 2-1 Chelsea win here. Next game, big game, Liverpool, Mo Salah drama and all of that versus Brighton Hove Albion, at Anfield. So the advantage is with Liverpool, but Mo Salah, I don't think he's going to play because he threw the manager under the bus. He put the club in disrepute. He's about to go AFCON. Has he played his last game for Liverpool? Who knows? Brighton, on the other hand, they're having a good season, but because of the table so congested, I think they're like in 10th or 11th place at the moment. Do you know what I mean? So I think with a win, they'll go. But no, they're in 8th. Sorry, apologies. Liverpool are in 11th. Brighton are in 8th. And I think with a win, Brighton could get into the top 4. So, and Liverpool can jump up the table to those top 4 positions. So it's a big game. And Liverpool at home, Ekatike is back on form, but they had a good midweek win against Inter Milan as well. But who's gonna win this game? Every time you go for Liverpool, there's a shock. I'm not going for a win. I'm going for a 2-2. I go for a 2-2. Brighton, they're attacking, so Liverpool get space in behind. But Brighton don't attack with no intent. They do their job, so I think it'll be a 2-2 here. Big game, but I think it's gonna be a draw. Moving on, 5:30 kickoff is Burnley versus Fulham. Burnley at home. I said Burnley find themselves in the relegation. They're not the worst team in the league, but they're second to worst team in the league. The XG for their shots is kind of high, but it's not good enough. Fulham has picked up some form recently, and I think their wing play, getting in behind, will be their strong point in this game. Burnley, these are the type of games if you want to stay in the league, you're going to have to win. You're going to have to win. Fulham, as I said, they've been kind of up and down. They started to pick up a little bit of form, but Burnley must have to see this as a must-win game to have any ambition in staying in the league. And I don't think they stay in the league. And for that reason, I'll go for a Fulham 2-1 win. I think Burnley just haven't got the knack of the Premier League. They try hard, but it's not good enough at this level. There's elite players playing, and Fulham have got some players who can damage you. I think Iwobi is the key player to look out for in that game. Next game, last game of Saturday, is Arsenal versus Wolves. And if formality had a picture, it would be Arsenal versus Wolves. Arsenal are going to destroy them. Man United destroyed Wolves 4-1. And Man United don't play good at football. And Wolves made them look like they was like champions of Europe. So Arsenal, who are arguably the best team in Europe, best defence in Europe, top of the league, top of the Champions League, are going to humiliate them. And sometimes when a team is expected to do well, sometimes they don't do well. But this Wolves team, honestly, what I saw the other night was atrocious. And it's not the manager's fault, but the recruitment, it just looks like a mismatch. The players are definitely not Prem ready. I'll go for a big Arsenal win here at the Emirates. Oh, do even Wolves? No, Wolves don't get a goal. I'll go for a 4-0 Arsenal win here. Arsenal to extend their lead at the top of the table, and I'll go for a 4-0 win. Gokeres has to score though, because he's moving bookie at the moment. I know he's coming back from injury. Madueke looks like he's playing well, but I think Gokeres has to put in a performance this game, and Arsenal need to get back to winning ways after their slip at Aston Villa. Because if they lose against Wolves or even drop any points, then title, forget about it. Moving on to Sunday's games. Crystal Palace versus Man City, tough game. Selhurst Park. Oh, my house is going to be locked off again. I can't. Got to show police I live here and all of that to drive out. But it's going to be a crazy game. Palace have, I think, the second best defense in the league. But Man City, big result against Real Madrid. In the Champions League. Palace did win their game in the Conference League as well. So the both teams have played, but I think Palace has never won a game after they played the Conference League and they played Man City. Man City are firing. Pep Guardiola took off Haaland, rested him. Cherky's just moving crazy. So it's not going to be an easy game, but I think for Man City to keep the pressure up on Arsenal, I think they come out winners in this game. So I'll go for a narrow 2-1 win. I think Palace score, but I think Man City, Haaland, Cherky, Foden, I think they're just in a rich vein of form right now, and I feel like they will get the 2-1 victory. So I'll go for a 2-1 Manchester City win there. Next up is Nottingham Forest versus Tottenham, another 2 o'clock kickoff. Nottingham Forest versus Tottenham, that's a decent game because Nottingham Forest are decent at home, but Forest are, I mean, but Spurs are decent away. And as I said, Nottingham Forest, they just won in the Europa League midweek, and Spurs won as well in the Champions League. So both coming off a win. Elliot Anderson, as I said, he's the man to look out for. But in the last game in the Premier League, they got trashed, and Spurs got a good win last time in the Premier League. Xavi Simons starting to turn up, Richarlison getting goals. So this is a tough game to call. I'm leaning more towards Spurs, but I just think Spurs haven't been super great this season. That's why they find themselves low in the table. But Forest is in the relegation zone. They need a win. They rested a lot of their players. Do you know what? I'm going for a Forest win here, 2-1. I think they beat Spurs and showed that Spurs are the inconsistent team that everyone thinks they are. Couple wins recently, but because Forest rested their players in the Europa League, I think they come up fresh and they'll do. Yeah, I think they do Tottenham. Sorry, Tottenham. Oh, the time where Derby, Sunderland versus Newcastle. Wow, we've missed this fixture in the Premier League. Big derby, one of the biggest derby in England. And Sunderland, high flying. They've dropped down the table now. I think they're about ninth now. Newcastle in about 12th position, but very close near the top. Couple wins can get you near the top. Newcastle. They came off a 2-2 draw against Leverkusen midweek, so they're going to be a little bit tired. And I think that will come into effect. I don't think Sunderland win, but I'll go for a 2 to a high scoring game. Will there be the venom? Does the players have that animosity about the rivalry in the clubs? I don't know, because it's a very different players, different club from different nationalities. I don't know if they have that drive, but maybe the club will say, you know what, it means a lot this game. The fans will definitely be up for it. But I'll go for a 2-2 draw here for Sunderland. Next game, West Ham versus Aston Villa. Oh my gosh, Aston Villa won again in the Europa League. I think that's 9 wins in a row. They're just moving crazy at the moment. And West Ham lingering at the bottom of the table, so have picked up form recently, but I can't see past the Aston Villa win here. They beat Arsenal, the leaders. Like, who can't they beat? They say. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're 3 points behind Arsenal. They don't want to let that slip, and they're not going to let it slip against West Ham. I'll go for a 3-1 Aston Villa win here. Marlon and the guys to fit shut them up. Last game of the weekend is Brentford versus Leeds. Brentford kind of took a dip in their last couple of games, and Leeds, oh, what character they're showing. The 3-3 against Liverpool. They beat Fulham, and they had another nearly drew with Man City. So they're in a rich vein of form. But Brentford are at home, so I'll go for I'll go for a 1-1 here. Can't split. I'm gonna sit on the fence with that one. As I said, Leeds in good form, but Brentford are notoriously good at home. Moving on to the last fixture now, the Monday night fixture, big game, Manchester United at Old Trafford versus Bournemouth. Man United coming off that trashing of Wolves, but that's not, we can't look into that game and say Man United are back. Mount had a good game. I was cussing him in the first half because when they scored the goal, he in the first phase he lost the ball, and then they started spinning it about and scored. Do you know what I mean? So I was cussing Mount, but in the second half, he came balling like Mason Mount, money. Mason Mount, like, came out balling. Do you know what I mean? Bruno Fernandes, I think, got 2 assists and a goal. And Bournemouth got back on the score sheet. Cunha needs to step up a little bit, but Bournemouth, obviously, they're dangerous. They have Semenyo and Cliver and all these guys in the last couple of seasons. They've been bullying Man United, so that's going to be in the back of players' mind. I think in pre-season, Man United did beat them, so I don't know if that's going to play any key part, like memory in that game. But we need to win. But in our last 2 games at Old Trafford, we lost against Everton and we drew against West Ham. Poor results. If we won the game, we would be high up in the table. Do you know what I mean? But we didn't. We find ourselves in sixth, joint fifth with Chelsea and Bournemouth. As I said, they've been on a poor run. So can Man United capitalise on that poor? And I think they're gonna capitalise. I'll go for a 2-1 because we're definitely conceding. We can't keep a clean sheet for anything. We're not the dry cleaners. We can't keep a clean sheet for anything. But Bournemouth will have a big threat, as it says, Semenyo and Cliver, and they've had a good history against Man United. Areola is a good manager, but I think Ruben Amorim and the boys come out 2-1. So that's my prediction. Let me know in the comment section what your prediction is. This is Ish from Endless Vision TV, and I'm out.